Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 1st of April, 5 p.m., and I'm delighted to welcome you to the annual investor briefing of Systems Limited. Systems had a stellar 2021 results, and not only did the earnings grow by more than 100%, but they generated very strong shareholder return, both by stock price appreciation as well as by dividend and bonus shares. They have won many awards, both locally and globally. And I think day before yesterday, they got recognized by the Pakistan Stock Exchange as the top 3 best performing companies on the exchange. The last time I visited their offices, the cabinet was full of shields and trophies and didn't have much space. So I think they'll need to get a new one. But more than that, it has been a true path blazer in the technology sector in Pakistan. For those of us who follow the tech sector will know that most of the tech developers are either joining Systems or tell us that they aspire to join Systems. So more than just the cabinet, I think they also probably need more office space. So I'm not surprised that we have so many people joining the call today. I think there are many more happy shareholders, happy clients and employees. The format of the call today would be that Mr. Asif Peer would give a presentation about the results, a 15-20 minutes presentation, and then we will be open for Q&A. For those who don't know me, my name is Ali Farid Khwaja. I'm the chairman of KSB, K-Trade Securities, Pakistan Holders Capital Markets Business, and I'm delighted to be the moderator for the Q&A session today. So with that, over to you, Rohi, and we look forward to the presentation by Mr. Peer.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the annual investor briefing of Systems Limited. So I will hand over to Asif for a brief introduction, and then we'll take you through the financial performance of the company. And then, as Ali has shared, that we'll open the floor for Q&A. So Asif, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Rui. Thank you, Ali. I hope you guys can hear me first, right?
Clear.
Okay, clear. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you all for joining today, and thanks to all the shareholders and directors and the team. I'm really proud of my leadership and management and the colleagues that we had another stellar year of performance, and it couldn't happen without the great team I'm proud of that I have in this journey. So, Rui, we can, as Ali said, that I'll just walk you through about the outcome of another stellar year that we have, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have to get more clarity around the numbers or the business model or anything that you guys have. Okay, so just Systems at a glance. And so I think, first of all, the most important thing that everybody is asking in today's world, because as you know, we are a global system integrator. So we're not just focusing on Pakistan at all. So we live in this global village, and everybody is concerned that, okay, this is happening, something is happening in Europe, what is going to affect, and pandemic and all of these things has been over, and inflation is going up and so on and so forth over in the industry. What is going to happen? I would like to say that based on the Gartners, and I think if Rui, can you mute all of them? So it will be easier, okay, except myself. Okay, so basically what I was saying is the market opportunity is huge. Okay.
Excuse me, Mustafa, can you please mute yourself?
I think Samar is the host, so Samar would be great if you have
in the past year or so,
Okay, great. Yeah, let them. I think whoever wants to ask questions, then they can unmute. Otherwise, we can keep them on mute. Okay. So market opportunity is huge. I think it's not going to be reduced by inflation or slowing down the economy, slowing down the American economy or European economy or whatever. What we have seen, and what I'm not saying this is Forbes, IDC, Gartner, they are all forecasting that companies are forced to do the digital transformation. And if unfortunate situation happens in business, like business is down, then there are two ways to do it. You accelerate your revenue, through your new ways to thinking, out-of-box thinking, digital transformation, business transformation, process transformation, process reengineering, or you have to reduce the cost, right? So, and how would you do it? You can't just cut in today's world by just saying that I'll cut 10 FTEs and that's about it, right? It's not going to happen like that. It has to happen through data and converting intelligent data, structured and unstructured, to an information so you can make a good decision. So I think this is a myth, but I'm very confident. I think all these studies and all these reflections says that it's a 1 trillion plus opportunity for enterprise IT services alone for the companies that is out there. Even it is creating more opportunities because there are certain supply constraints on certain countries. Unfortunate event has created currently. So that is definitely is going to increase more and more demand across the globe. So it's a strong demand. We are seeing, others are seeing, and as well as these research companies are seeing as well. So it's a huge opportunity, and it's for all the companies to touch upon. Okay, thank you. Next. So I think that's what we sell. Like, what is our value proposition? I think we have changed our persona. We are now not just a BPO company or something. We have just moved away. We're just doing the digital work. We are just focused on digital, data, cloud, and it took us like, it's not like overnight it happened. We have been working on this since last 5 years, and I think I'm really grateful that my team and we all were able to transform our value proposition and our offerings in the last 5 years to be relevant in the market, what market needs. So we are no more not doing any legacy work, and we're working in emerging technologies, and we are not like, again, in our business, you can work in all the industries, but we are very focused. We're creating assets. We are creating tools in a specific industry focus as well, so that can get the foot in the door. And once we get foot in the door, then we can, of course, cross-sell and upsell and do the value-added selling. With the customer centricity, our recurring revenue is our strength. And I'll share later as well about greater than 90% of the revenue is coming from our existing customers. And one of the forte that I would say, the strong employee ownership. I think you might have read in our annual report, we are designing an organization for perpetuity. It means that this employee ownership culture, that what we have been introducing and giving our people more and more employee ownership, because in services business, it's all about people, right? So we were able to retain all of the key people through that. And that is important. Of course, there is a turnover at the developers level, which everybody expects and everybody had happened. But this leadership and the key people are important for the growth. These are the pillars. And we were able to retain that throughout the years. And we will continue that culture. This is our strong foundation for the growth. Next. So I think, again, as I was saying to you, what we have been shifting, digital business as the core, and that's where the world is changing. And as you've seen in the Gartner said that, like, there is a $6.3 trillion opportunity, out of 55% is going to be in the digital transformation, right? So it's a huge market space. It used to be our BPO business, whoever is following us from last 5 years, it used to be between 15 and 20%. It is reduced to 10% in 21, and it is further going to reduce in the 2022 as well. It doesn't mean that we just want to, because our core focus is where there is a great margin, where there is a growth, and we just want to be really focused on digital services, expanding our footprint, expanding in geographies where custom markets are needing. So we become more digital services company versus a BPO company. So as you see, this is increased. This will further go down as well. Next. So this is very interesting. I think I really want to thank my team for scaling up that. It's really the elasticity, like, of course, in a global whoever is an international global investors in the call, they might be looking at the different numbers like 10,000s and 20,000s and whatever. But in Pakistan, nobody has done it. So we crossed this 5,000 number, about 1,800 net professional services addition, about 150 to 200 on average. It is a huge upsurge from an employee capability perspective. The capacity increase was the key, because I think I remember in the last call, everybody was asking how you would be able to stretch the supply, and there might be a supply constraint, as you guys were seeing. There was no, of course, Russia crisis at that time. So you guys were seeing that pandemic will be more and more demand, how it will fulfill. So we aggressively invested and hired people because we were seeing the strong demand in the pipeline. So and I think that really helped us. And as you can see, our strong 41% CAGR in the last 5 years from a revenue perspective. So we are doubling every 2 to 3 years. And in dollar terms, we had 37% CAGR. So it's not like just we are growing in PKR and adding the value in Pakistan currency depreciation. I just want to say that from 2019 to 21, 3 years, average CAGR is 37% in USD term. Of 35% plus is really something which we are proud of, and I'm really proud of my team of delivering that. Okay, so I think the 2021 is really, I want to focus where we have achieved, as Ali highlighted, that achieving the accolades. I think again, I'm really thankful to my colleagues and the team that we have been achieved. Forbes Asia has recognized us best under $1 billion since last 2 years. We have been recognized by Microsoft as an inner circle, which is like 90 companies only globally. So 1% of their partner ecosystem. So we will be qualified 1% in the ecosystem. And that really give us an edge and our credibility in the market, which is showing in our numbers as well. We're the largest IT exporter. We record highest ever profitability. And we have expanded our operations globally as well. So I think it has been a phenomenal year, and we really want to continue that progress. Thank you. Next. So these were a few which I highlighted in previous slide. We started, I think few of you guys who are following us, we started SAP like a year ago, and in the first year we received this award from SAP as a top new partner and service excellence award. What does it mean for us? It's not just an award as a logo. It gives the credibility. So when we go into the market now, last year we were 0 customer with 0 recognition. Now we're going with the customers, with the revenue, with the skill set, with the people, and with this award and recognition from SAP. It changes the whole complexion, the marketing and the strategy and the global expansion. So that is really awesome. As I said, the Inner Circle and SAP, these are Microsoft is growing, SAP is growing. So if they grow, nobody else can stop us to grow as well. So we, as Ali said, that we're grateful again. We are third company in like 25 companies recognized by PSX. That's a great achievement and accolade for my team that we have achieved that. We were nobody, like when we listed, we were very at the lowest level, but now we have jumped up quite significantly, and we always aspire to be number 1. So Asia Money has recognized us, Pasha has recognized us, and I think we are thankful and grateful that we are recognized by many. Thank you. Next. So client composition is very important. As I said, greater than 90% revenue comes from existing customers, right? So it's a very well diversified client portfolio. So it's not like 80% of the revenue is coming from one customer. It is very well diversified, where, of course, as you can see, every threshold is increasing. So our KPIs we should have more and more with the strong client focus, engagement, account management. We are really, really focusing on that. Every year we need to client moves from one tier to another tier, because that's a growth. So if there is a $1 million account, how we can move and push to $3 million annual recurring revenue. If there are 500 K of account, how we can push into a more than $1 million revenue, and so on and so on and so forth. So I'm proud that you can see in 2020 we didn't have those two categories, the first top two categories. This is a great achievement for us, and we were able to do that. And we are pushing hard because this is the key KPI for us, right? So more and more clients we add, and you can see that we added 60 new logos. It's not like a small number. New clients means new clients. And how the business works is that now it's not like we might have received $100,000 this year from these 60 customers, but these are now our door open. Now we can sell, and if we are doing $100,000, can we do $200,000? If we are doing $200,000, can we do $500,000? This is the question that we ask daily from our sales and account management team, and I think that is our focus. And of course, adding more client is also a focus, but this itself gives us a robust growth. Next. So I'm blessed again, very composed, as you can see, our board of directors, where we get a lot of guidance from them, very industry professionals and like financial tax consultants, and have no introduction needed in Pakistan market, at least, and global. So we're blessed with the board and with the support and the leadership and guidance that I get and my team gets. And again, as I said, like our leadership team, that what we think, as you can see, that we have created a structure of market-based structure, that every market thinks themselves as a startup mentality. We really just go in. If we are starting new geography, we go in and start up, like KSA is an example. We start just a startup concept and a philosophy where we have a small office space, few people, and aspiration is to be one of the largest company for Pakistan and in the region into that market. That's aspiration and vision. But of course, we start nimble, agile, and very focused on that how we can grow all these markets. So that's why these GMs, and they have the structure, and that gives us the scalability to grow, and we can keep adding those leaders into the mix, and they take the numbers responsibility, and they grow the market, they create the structure underneath it. And we have a very, of course, Ruhi is there, the group CFO, Taima is a group CHRO. Now we have a group CHROs and group, because now it's a group of companies. It's not just Systems Limited, right? So we have subsidiaries, and Asif, our CFO, of course, CEO has been like managing a hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue before as well. So how can we manage it effectively, the operations and the markets to be lean? And this is the core success. Our structure is the core, and our leadership is the core success of our growth. Next. So, of course, the most important is the numbers, and I'm sure we have provided a very detailed annual report, and the data, the director report, and being shared everything transparently with our shareholders. Always do that, and of course, happy to answer anything. So as you can see that we have a 54% USD based revenue growth year on year. So again, and I showed in the PKR is 55% and 54 is the USD based growth. Employees I already shared, the margins are strong, free cash flow is strong. Customers I've already shared. Like existing customers, revenue from existing customers, 91%. Our DSO has decreased significantly. Whoever is following us, I think we are beyond, like it is industry standard, is over 4 months. We are less than that. Our EPS has grown, our ROE has grown, our cash, we have a strong cash balance, which we can use into multiple things. Of course, as you guys can see that our revenue per employee is growing, and there is a huge opportunity to grow this revenue per employee further as well as we move along. So we are really focused on all of these KPIs, and like, as you can imagine, like little bit increase in revenue per employee with the number of employees we have, it really improves the profitability and the numbers and so on and so forth. So we are very, very focused. My team is really focused on all of these and trying to increase every metrics we can achieve. So we are just not growing the top line, we are doing the sustainable growth in all the KPIs that we hit, not just the top line growth. So sustainability is the key, and sustainable, profitable growth is our motivation to do it. Next. Sorry. So I just want to say that like this was our first quarter, like Q4 of 2021, where we crossed $25 million run rate, right? So it was about 28 million roughly, give and take. So that is a huge achievement. I think as whoever is following us, we didn't have like $25 million revenue in a year, a few years ago. So now whatever we used to do 2-3 years ago in a full year, we are doing it in a quarter, right? So that is a huge achievement for us that we have shown that we can grow scalable. We are scalable and we can grow faster than the market and then the industry. Of course, 70% growth as compared to the last quarter of Q4 of 2020. Dollar basis 56%, which is again a huge number. And quarter over quarter growth is of course 20% and 15% as well. So I think it was an amazing quarter for us, and we're really striving for future as well. Thank you. Next. Operating profit, as you can see, has been increasing consistently. We look at operating profit, and it's not like one-offs or just excluded, because that's what our operating performance shows. So again, 25% and 9% over the last quarter as well. Next. Rui, next. Rui, can you move to the next slide? Okay. Revenue. Okay, so net income is, of course, as you can see, has been increased 90% over 2020, 74% in USD terms from the last quarter of 20 to 21. And again, quarter over quarter is also increased in a positive way. Next. Okay, so revenue breakdown, that is very important. I think all of you guys asked these questions as well, that what you guys do and with geography. As you can see that North America is 42% and Europe is about 49% is Europe and America, and then remaining Middle East has grown significantly as compared to the last year. Pakistan is about stagnant, always remained between 15 and 20%, but Middle East has shown a significant performance, and I think it's because we have been, I think this is from like Middle East perspective, the demand has increased of the offshore resources. And as the global demand increases from North America and Europe to all the other competitor countries like India and others, they were really focused on those markets. And we got an opportunity and the space in these markets where we are really getting a lot of demand, and the demand and the pipeline is really strong. Industry, again, we have, as I said, we are not doing everything and anything. We're very focused on few industries, and of course we do others as well. Telco, technology services, and BFS is our core where we are really pushing. Public sector comes, but we are not like we used to do a lot in public sector in Pakistan. We significantly reduced that number as well, and retail and CPG. So like telco, BFS, and retail and CPG is like a core focus, but of course we don't refuse the technical work in any other industry as well. Next. Revenue and cost mix, I think that's very interesting. As you can see that we have our revenue is about 81% is dollar based, and in the current situation, unfortunately, again for our country where the dollar is depreciating like hell, so it is definitely our revenue. It really definitely give us a lot of leeway and an edge that even our price goes up from a resource perspective, it compensated by the dollar if price means our resource cost. And of course, on the other side, if there is a pressure, as you guys can see that if there's a pressure, the customer wants to do more volume-based work but needs some discount, we have some room to give the discount as well and get the volume business and still make a lot of money. So 80% is our cost is PKR based, 20% is AD based. So you can see the mix is very favorable in current situation, which is very unfortunate for the country, but for the exporters and for us, it's very, very important. Okay, next. So as I said, the employee ownership and the institution, I think you guys have the shareholding pattern, so I will not go into the details, but you guys can see that 51% out of 51%, like 19% and 22% is owned by the funds, local and foreign. Our payout ratio has been phenomenal. We have been increasing as you guys can see that we always do about 20% dividend for earnings, and this year, of course, we did the bonus as well. So we're really focusing on the payouts and minority interest. We protect that. Very strong corporate governance. That's what we always focus, and that is our always top priority. Next. Okay, OneLoad is, I think, I always get a question, so I thought that I put a slide as well so people know that our GMV is increasing, our number of people are increasing, our active retailer, this is now in a very, very positive trajectory. We have come, we are in the process, of doing $10 million round, which we have raised through VCs, through Gates, and through the banking channel. So $10 million round has been funded. So now we have the cash as well to take this as an accelerated growth. We had some challenge in the past, and now since we have raised this, this will be phenomenal as well, and we will be able to grow that at a faster pace and more financial intrusion. We have, as you can see, our partners and the VCs are very, very respectable, and we can really make a difference in this fintech and space. And we are very sustainable. We are not like for the sake of GMV. We're not like burning the cash as well. So our unit economics is much better than any other startup that you can evaluate. I can challenge in the entire ecosystem. Our unit economics is much, much, much disciplined and better. Okay, next. So I'll just not go into the details. I think you guys can see that we are expanding OneLoad, and we will continue to expand OneLoad because that is our strategic investment. We really believe in this initiative. We really think that it will still create the disruption. And now, since we have the money, it gives us more empowerment to expand it quickly and raise the bar and the valuations and everything for this investment that we have. Okay. I will hand it over to Rohit for this ESG. I think this is very important. Again, I get these questions, and we, for last few years, again, I thank to my investors and the shareholders who put us into that roadmap that this is very important, and we started following since last 3 years very aggressively. So Rui, please. Rui, can you just do?
Yeah, so on ESG, we started working on ESG a couple of years ago, and from our annual report, you can see our progress. This year, we have given the disclosure in a little bit more detail. We divided sustainability for us in 5 main pillars. The first pillar that we have focused on is the environment, governance, financial growth, giving back to the society and our employees. So you can see the details in our annual report, but right now I'll just share with you that we are focusing on the environment, how we can reduce our carbon footprint, how we can reduce our electricity cost consumption that we are using by reducing e-waste, by donating our laptops. And we are also raising awareness among our employees to control water and electricity wastage. On governance front, we have an independent board. We are fully compliant with the Code of Corporate Governance in Pakistan. And we have responsible tax practices. We have a published policy of a code of conduct on our website, which we share regularly with our employees as well, and train them on that. We closely monitor our related party transactions. And we have a defined policy for cybersecurity and data privacy. On sustainable financial growth, the key indicators are clearly reflecting the sustainability on this front. We have 55% revenue increase. And if you look at the CAGR also, it's 47%. We have 53% GP increase, 100% increase in EPS this year, 36% return on equity. So there is a sustainability in the financial growth also. Giving back on the society, giving back to the society, we are collaborating with the academia. We are with other funds as well to support and ensure that we are donating to the hospitals. We are supporting schools and donating laptops to the schools. And we have created an internal fund, which is called Systems Dost Fund, to provide financial support to our own employees in case of emergencies. Then for employees, on the employees front, we are making sure that we are creating a decent workspace for our 5,000 plus employees, where they, when they come to the office, they feel comfortable. And we have a flexible work from home policy as well. Even post-COVID, we have provided this flexibility to our employees to avail this policy. We are investing on training and certification for our employees. And during the pandemic, we had vaccination centers in the established in the office to support the employees. Okay.
So really,
yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So if Asif, do you want me to go through the vision as well?
I think it's fine. I think we have put that into annual report, unless and until somebody has a question, we can skip that. But we have put that into, and we will put that presentation on our website as well.
On our website as well. Yeah. So I will just skip to the way forward, Asif.
Okay. So the way forward, I think this is really important for us as the growth is the driver, and we are very committed for that. That's the driver that all the leadership, myself, we are really all the board, shareholders, chairman, everybody's focused, right? So customer centricity is one of the key that's why you can see the 90 to 95% recurring revenue. There is no other way. If you're not focused, then you can't grow. So that's one which as I said, like 267 customers, we need to maximize, we need to grow. And that's one of the growth engine and the driver. Revenue diversification. You might have read in our director report as well, we are expanding into the geographies, because one thing that I would like to highlight here is that now our greater than 50% of the revenue comes from the direct business, which we do in the rest of the world, other than US and Europe, right? So why it's important that when we go into the newer markets, like KS as an example, once we say that we are the largest IT company in Pakistan and we have this much of footprint, and then immediately we get the traction and the doors are open in those geographies, versus if we can say the similar thing in US, nobody will notice that, because they believe that if somebody is coming with that credentials, they can add value, because a lot of other companies, the large SIs are focused on the other part of the geographies and not neglecting this. So we really want to become the largest in this ASEAN region and APAC region and GCC region. And that's our focus. That's why we are expanding. We have in the geographies. And I think in our business, it's not like you open a geography and like, it's in next morning you get the work. You have to invest, you have to do marketing, you have to do branding, and you have to position yourself. And then it gives you the business, as you might have seen in UAE last 5 years journey, whoever is following us, now it is exponential, but it took us 2 to 3 years to set that base and the foundation. So revenue is definitely going to be, we have a strong demand coming in. And again, it's inorganic growth is important. And we have invested something this year into the companies which have yielded a great results, but we are very aggressively working on M&A as well. Next, because we believe that for hyper growth, this is the key pillar. So our investment priority, healthy cash flow is the key, improving, managing our DSOs and investing the cash, global presence, investing into talent is the core. as a lot of questions I see on the supply challenges, I don't see that challenges. To be honest with you, that's our forte. How to train people, how to scale. We have learned that, we have done it, we will continue to do that. We are a very small company from numbers perspective, so still there is a lot of room for us to do. M&A is definitely the top priority. Investments, and not like as a VC. Our investments are very strategic, where we see a value, we can add value, and we can get the value in terms of the data into those companies. That's where we invest money. Incubating new ideas, geographical expansion, infrastructure development. Of course, as Ali said, that we don't have the place. So we are planning to build 3,000 people infrastructure this year as well. Because that is key now, the work from home. Yes, we are flexible, but it's just, we would love to have a place where people can come and not forced to work from home. Okay, next. So as you can see, that new geographies, Egypt, we have opened mainly for supply center, because now we are opening in Saudi and UAE business. Saudi is going to grow rapidly. So we would be needing Arabic speaking people, and sometimes customer wants that at offshore, onshore. We can't produce Arabic speaking people in Pakistan. So that is also one of the area. And I think what I'm finding, Egypt can be also a market as well, because they have the banks and they have the telcos, right? And these two sectors spend the same amount of money as Pakistan telcos and banking sector invest. So we thought initially about the supply, but now we can see and convert that into demand and supply, both like Pakistan. Saudi would be the growth driver for the next few years. We started some. Before even going there, we started projects in South Africa. We started also in APAC region as well, although the company has been set up, but we have recruited people now, they will be moving. So as I said, it's a process. So it's not like going to be overnight, but all these and why we have done all of these together, because as I said, it takes some time, right? So you invest, you stabilize. So for that kind of a growth numbers to meet, all of the factors needs to contribute. Only one factor cannot give you that kind of growth. So we are very cognizant of the fact that do the multiple things in parallel, do all this with the focus, but not dilute your customer focus. Without diluting the employee focus and the talent focus and the customer focus and the leadership focus, building all of these things in parallel can give us the hyper growth. And that's why we are doing all of these things in parallel. Of course, it takes a lot. And again, as I said, I have a great leadership. I'm proud of my team. So they will take all of these challenges, and I will do all of these things in parallel. Okay, next. So Systems Venture, as you guys have seen, we have set up as well. So we made few investments. Retailistan was one of the successful investment that we have made last year. Retailistan has two components. One was SalesFlow and one was Jugnu. SalesFlow is a SaaS-based product. We initially invested in that. And Jugnu was a byproduct for that company. And Jugnu itself raised currently $22.5 million as a Series A. So you can imagine. And we just invested $3 million in the parent company, not the Jugnu. So for 20%, you guys, probably all of you guys know that. So we are very excited of this future, and the appreciation of the valuation that what we got in these companies, with the minimum investment, our returns would be very high. And I think, again, as I said, we just didn't do this because we will get an exit and the return and so on and so forth. Our vision was different. We really wanted to hone down the data, make a value out of it, and create the further value as a byproduct of coming up with many other ideas, which is in process. Next. So I think I already said that. So I think we are excited for those things that we have done, and would love to have Q&A. I think, Ali, can you moderate, please? And if you can combine the similar questions, that would be great.
I will do that. Thank you. Thank you for that very comprehensive presentation, and for telling us the journey, how the efforts of the last 5 years are now resulting to drive that kind of growth. And the thing which I found really interesting from your presentation was the number of times you referred to your colleagues and the team and how you gave them credit. And I think that's very indicative of the good governance practices which you have upheld at Systems. And another signal of that was also the fact that 36% of employees are shareholders. So I thought that was really good and very impressive. We are open for questions. Please write. The format of Q&A is that please write your questions on chat, and then I'll pose it to Mr. Peer. We have 157 people on the call, and we have 20 minutes for questions, and then we are slightly tight of time on time because the management has another commitment after this. So please write your questions on chat. I do see some raised hands, but write your questions over there. I'm kicking off with the first question, which is somebody has asked that your shareholding in OneLoad, you mentioned about the 10 million capital raise. So have you participated in the round, or what's your updated shareholding in that? And I'm just adding a second question to that, which is Rashid Narejo is asking that most Indian tech companies have built in-house training centers to train the people. Are you planning to do similar? And I think it's linked to the fact that, what else are you doing to attract talent and keep talent on board?
Okay, so OneLoad, yes, our shareholding, we have not invested in this round, but of course our shareholding will be diluting by that percentage, whatever the investment comes in, because we have already invested in OneLoad for so many years. So now we are giving investors opportunity and VCs to come in and invest and take this company to the next level. Of course, our share of valuation will increase eventually, which is whatever valuation they will be contributing. So the next, yes, we cannot hire and not train people. We have not one program, but many programs, academia linkages. And again, if you read our annual report, we have highlighted all these programs. We are doing front loading. We have resource development initiatives. We are going into the universities and training people in their last semesters as well, hiring fresh graduates, running multiple training programs within the competencies. And you will see multiple programs we will be launching in the recent, in future as well, very like current future, I would say, not like too long. Like retention is the key, and attracting, as you might, whoever is following Systems, we are investing a lot in marketing, branding. And it's not like just to our focus wing. One wing is just focusing on employer branding, which is internal to our employees and external to the prospective employees. So this is the core thing that we have changed in last. We created a separate employer branding department who does in and outward, right? So that's the key, because we know that if we can't do the branding, we can't attract. Our Glassdoor ratings and everything we follow has been like on the upward trajectory because of that. So we're very heavily focused on branding, marketing, and to retention. And as I said, employee ownership is one of the catalysts for this, taking the key people and retaining the key people. Of course, we can't hold everyone. It's nobody can.
Thank you for that. And one part of his question is asking about the stock option program, if you have that. And I'll add just one more question to that from Amlesh Ghaffar. He's asking if there's any impact from US-Pakistan relationships and the current political turmoil in Pakistan.
I don't think so. It's political. I'm not a politician, so I can't give you an answer to that. But I don't think so, because it's not like we are the only company who is exporting to US, right? So our ratio is 40%, right? So there are all the companies in Pakistan exports, and we have an economic ties with US. And I don't think so. These things can affect geopolitical or trades. Trade doesn't get immediately affected on all of these things. There might be here and there things happen, but I really don't see that it's going to impact. And from that, because it might be the noise for a time being, it might be over, but I'm not an expert. But if it for whatever reason, if it happens, it happens. Not like we are very small in this mix.
Thank you for that. Shahroz is asking 4 questions, and I'll just summarize them. It's related to the financial results. So he's saying that your average revenue per customer is $30,000. How much do you think
per employee?
per employee? How high can it go in 2022? Do you think your gross margins will be sustainable going forward? Why have the short-term borrowings increased? And why have admin expenses increased as well?
Yeah, I think gross margin, it's a matter of course, gross margin will, depending on the investments that we make, because you guys know our business. When I'm opening a new geographies and we are opening an investment, we are not making an investment in CapEx. It's all OpEx investment, right? It's all people-based investment, right? So for the future robust hyper growth, we'll be investing in talent, we'll be investing in markets. So as I said, we want to be sustainable and we look at these ratios very carefully, but plus minus here and there can affect, but not like, not this type of a jump or not this type of a jump. It will be very sustainable type of a margin maintenance that what we have. Admin expenses have increased because, as I said, like we book a cost, we give a lot of options, and at the last quarter, of course, the stock price adjustments and so on and so forth. So these things increase admin cost as well. So that is part of it. We book the cost for all the gains that we give because this is a cost to a stock option is a cost to the company. So we book those as well. So sometimes in last quarter, we made an adjustments on those. So but otherwise, I see the margins ratios not significantly altered.
Thank you. There are a couple of questions about the valuations of the two portfolio companies which you mentioned, OneLoad and Jugnu. You mentioned the amount of funding they raised, so 10 million and 22.5 million. Can you give us some indication of the valuations? And would we see the valuation gain in your results as well, in your accounts?
No, we do equity-based accounting, so it's not like reflective on that basis that because otherwise our results will be like this and this. We don't want to do that, right? So that we gain a strong gain and then it's stopped. So we don't do that. Number one. Number two, of course, these values are not disclosed yet. So once we disclose, then of course, because we are under certain VC's agreement and the shareholding agreement. So I can't tell you the valuations. I told you what is public information, that the amount of the money we have raised. So once they release that, they are associated companies. Once they release that, of course, then we will release that as well.
Thank you. Harry Wilkin is asking what proportion of contract value goes to VisionNet versus systems, and how are minority investors protected from more cash flow going to VisionNet?
That is, to be honest with you, that's an irrelevant question from the standpoint, because we have an arm's length relationship, and now 42% of the business comes from them. So whatever we have we have the rates, right? So if they get the business at X dollars, and they have an on-site people as well. Our business model is not like just everything is offshore. It's an on-site and offshore. And in offshore, of course, they take all the marketing and generate business and so on and so forth. So we have agreed rate cards. So whatever the people we provide, we get our money, right? Simple. So everybody is protected. No, we are very transparent. We follow the process, policies, audits, everything. So whatever they do, it has nothing to do with systems. We will get what we want. That's it. And we have now 55% of the business that is our direct business. We retain 100% of it as well. So it's not like we are just 100% on that kind of an equation as well anymore.
Thank you for that. Mohammed Saad from Iran is asking that you have mentioned about expansion in Singapore and South Africa. Can you give us some guidance of, what's the kind of revenues you can make over there? What's the margins in these two markets?
Margins will be great. That I can tell you, right? Because these markets pay the good. It's definitely better than Pakistan and Middle East, right? So margin wise. Revenue, of course, as I said, it's the process, right? It's not like something that turn on and turn off, right? So we are investing, and the market is there. That's why we are going there, right? Because all the big SIs are present there, right? We are not doing the reinventing the wheel. We are just following if all the bigger SIs are present in those geographies, they're doing business. It means the business is out there. So there needs to be one of the Pakistani company who can take that flag and say that we are the largest company. We came here and we have done it in a number of similar clients, geographies. We need business. And since we have one important thing is the channel partner relationship is global. Microsoft is global. SAP is global. Salesforce is global. Adobe is global. PwC is global. EY is global. Accenture is global. Sapient is global. ADL is global. They are global, right? So all these relationships are like we have started from the day one. So we are not the newbies because they ask the information from their regions. Okay, these partners work in your geography, how well they have performed. And we immediately get the good nod from them. And these certifications and the inner circle and the awards complement all of this. So for us, the entry, which was a painful 5 years ago when we started in Middle East, it's not that painful for the new geography. So I'm very confident, very optimistic, but I can't give you like just the forecast and projections because it's just in the phase of setting up, but very optimistic that I can say that for sure.
Thank you. There are lots of questions, so I'll just tell the audience that Ruhi is noting the questions and we will get back to all of the questions, but I'll just post some of them to Asif Saab. So there's a question from Harun. There's a question from Harun Farooq. He's asking, we've seen that Pakistan's IT exports have slowed down from 40% plus growth last year to just 13% in the first 2 months of the calendar year. How does Systems see this and how much growth is in your company's pipeline?
No, I think that is wrong assessment, actually. We are, as an industry, the fiscal year starts from July to June. So we are at 40% growth. I'm expecting we are $1.8 billion so far. Last year, we did 2.2 billion as a country. And my forecast is about 2.8 billion or to 3 billion for the entire country for the entire year from July to June. So I'm optimistic that we will hit between 30 and 40% growth this year as well in the full 12-month cycle. As you can see that when the dollar fluctuates that much, exporters sometimes don't look at the 1 month number because it's an anomaly because March is now still I'm seeing that probably if the dollar doesn't get stabilized, people might hold and then we'll get before June. So let's hope, but I think you guys are seeing, as if you look at that lens, July to June, you might have seen our Q3 result, Q4 results, and soon you will see the Q1 result. So if the growth is not there, then how would the industry is growing? Industry is growing, and you have seen in the last 2 quarters, the growth from systems as well.
Thank you. We have a good question from Shahrukh Salim. He's asking that, when you hire people, do you have any target revenue per employee? And are there any global companies against which you benchmark yourself and you say, this is the kind of revenue per employee which we should be making?
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the main KPI, right? So it's usually between $30,000 to $35,000 into our part of geography. But when you look at Eastern America and Eastern Europe, and their revenue per employee is 50,000 plus. Like Ukraine, as an example, is $50,000 plus, 50 to 59,000 to be precise, as a revenue per employee. So for our side of the geography, 30 to 35,000 is the typical number. And yeah, we want to maximize that. But I think the point why this is not exactly translate, because we keep the bench as well. If we are hiring 1,800 net people, it means not 1,800 are billable on the day one. So we carry the bench when we carry the bench, then the revenue per employee you divide, of course, gives you the less number than the actual billing rate that you get for a billable resource. So it's all of these decisions are based on how aggressive that you want to invest in talent and how strong company sees the future for forecast in the pipeline. So it's not easy. It's multiple variables and multiple thinking process, but we look at it and our 100% all of my management, we all look at it and we all want to increase that. We all want to increase the utilization percentage, because utilization percentage is directly proportional to revenue per employee.
Thank you. There are a lot of questions more about the listed companies, the investment, about the valuation, but you have already answered those questions. Bilal is asking that this number of 30,000 revenue per employee, how many employees have you used in calculating that? Because when you divide,
you can do the reverse engineer. You can do the reverse engineer.
No, I have addressed this question. This is based on the IT resources.
Yeah, IT resources. Yeah. So, but it can be reverse engineered as well, easily.
Nabil is asking, what new technologies are you going to work on? Are you doing something in metaverse, and what about blockchain?
Yeah, as I shared in my presentation, we are only working on to what is in the market, right? Metaverse and blockchain is definitely, we will virtual reality and all of these things. But right now, the scale is not there, but we are building the capability muscles first, so we can address when there is a big demand. Right now, blockchain is a buzzword, of course, but blockchain, you might have seen, it has been a buzzword for last 2-3 years, but not that many use cases are practical and deployed in action. So it's not like blockchain requires, digital transformation requires a blockchain. Digital transformation doesn't require blockchain only. Digital transformation requires a whole set of new things, right? So yes, we are building the capability, but and we are working on all latest SAP, Microsoft. I gave you the name. All the principles that are growing, we are working and we are following them. And I firmly believe they have billions of dollars of investment they make in technology. And if you just follow them, and if you just do create expertise in what they are coming up with, I think there will be no shortage of work.
Thank you. Yasin Hanif is asking that the Middle Eastern revenues grew by 85%, while the other regions were up 40%. So what's the key driver for Middle East?
As I said, we have done a very good marketing, repositioning ourselves as with all these partners, with all these channels. And once you are recognized as one of the large company from Pakistan is doing all of this, providing the quality service. And as I said, this is one of the strategic region for us versus our competitor neighboring country. This is not a strategic geography. For us, it is strategic. So we have an opportunity to kill that side of a market space because there is a room for it. As our numbers are very small from a US perspective, we are a very smaller company. So if we say that we are $100 million company, they'll say, okay, that's fine. So what? But here in this side of the world, this really makes a difference. And I see, again, the pipeline is really encouraging for us.
Thank you. Taha has two questions from Mizan. He's asking that the gross margin in Pakistani market declined in the fourth quarter. Can you please give us some guidance on why did it decline, and do you expect it to revert back to the historical level? And the second question he has is that the losses on Retailistan and OneLoad, do you have any forecast on when would those companies plan to achieve break even? And there was another question by somebody else who was asking about, do you have any intention of applying for the digital banking license? I think he must be referring to OneLoad rather than systems. So those three questions.
Okay, I can answer all of them. Pakistan, definitely the margins will be better going forward. No doubt about that. In the last quarter, usually some adjustments of receivables and so on and so forth. We do IFRS 15 and IFRS 9. So these adjustments happen towards the end of the year to make sure that we follow the conservative strategy versus aggressive strategy in terms of revenue recognition, in terms of receivables and days outstanding and some public sector receivables and so on and so forth. So definitely the margins are strong because now we are, as you might have seen in my slide, the public sector revenue is 7%. So we are working on a private sector and they are all profitable customers. So I'm really positive that the margins will not be equal to the other markets, but at least it will be better. Retailistan and these startups will continue to make losses for sure for foreseeable future. because they are focused on the growth. They are focused on the GMV. That's why they are getting the valuation, So, but the loss is so minimal and our valuation gain is that much. It really doesn't matter. It might be a time being. For the time being, you might be seeing that. But since their month over month growth is like this, like a stick in hockey stick, so their valuation will be like this. So the loss will remain and we don't mind because they're growing and their valuation, as if they cannot raise 22.5 million and 10 million if the future is not there. So these companies will make losses. OneLoad might be positive sooner than these others because OneLoad is doing past. We are doing it from past and we are sustainable. So that's about it. And the third question that you ask about digital banking, we have no plan for now. We have EMI license for OneLoad. We will do more use cases with EMI license first, do the good stuff, and then we might be able to, once we see this, how the others license work, because now everybody is trying to do it. So we really want to see the others do our stuff, create the foundation, more solidify our base, because we have the real business. Not everybody has. We have 50,000 retailers, will grow to 100,000 or whatever. For us, getting a digital banking license will make immediate sense. We have the technology power, we have the OneLoad, we have the knowledge, we have the fintech, but we would love to see first the regulations, because everybody will lose money, believe me, whoever will do first. So let them lose money.
I think it's a wise strategy. I'm conscious of time, but let me squeeze in two more questions. Anas is asking that you got your first $10 million contract. Can you talk more about that? Has the company put itself in a position where we can expect more clients like that? And how do you forecast sales growth, CAGR, for the next 3 years? Can we expect it to sustain the growth you have done over the last 3 years?
That's always our aspiration, right? That's what I can say, right? We want to maintain our historical trajectory and keep doing what we are doing, and we are all committed to this. That's what I can say.
Any color on can you get more of these $10 million contracts going forward?
I think it doesn't happen like this, Ali. It's you have to convert, as I showed you the tiers. You convert $5 million account to a 10 million, and 10 million to a 15 million, and 3 million to a 5 million. So immediately you don't get 10 million because that's not sustainable. It will be one-off. If I get a $10 million contract today, it will not be reflective of a true 10 million. I would say it's a one-off deal we got. And it's very rare, one-off deals are not sustainable. If you build the business, that's where.
Got it. And the last question, I combined a few questions on this, that a lot of people are asking that how many people do you intend to hire more in this year? And I'm assuming that they are trying to use this as a proxy for forecasting your revenue growth for 2022. So any guidance on that?
I think yes, we are continue to hire to fulfill the demand. We have front load a lot of people last year as well for the future demand. So I think we see the pipeline is there, and we are hiring. So I don't have the exact number, and I can't share as well exact numbers, as you said, like you can do. But what I can say is we are training, we are hiring, we are focused on retention and building the leadership layer, because that is the key. It's not about just if you have leaders, if you're producing, creating more and more leaders, growth is unavoidable.
Thank you, especially for that, using that term of leadership, because I think that's what Systems has proven to be. And you also have done for not just for Systems, but also for Pakistani tech ecosystem. And I'm conscious and aware of some of the policy changes which you have driven, which has benefited the whole ecosystem. So thank you for that. And thank you for Systems for being a role model. So back to you. I know you gave us some extra time, but any closing remarks from Ruhi or you?
I'm really thankful to all of you for listening us patiently, and we tried our best, and we have always been very transparent and very vocal and shared a lot of stuff as and when it happened. So we are open. If there is any other Q&A, you guys can share with Ali or ourselves in an email. And I'm sure if they are not repetitive, like whatever we have answered, I appreciate if you guys could take it and just summarize if there is anything new that we have not answered and you guys still want to have some question, we are more than happy to answer. I truly believe this Pakistan is at the verge of creating an impact in IT ecosystem. We are late entrant as a country, but with the utmost focus from every direction and the awareness, as Ali said, that we have created collectively, this ecosystem will be very robust. And I'm really positive that we will fill the vacuum and the gap that has been the supply gap that exists today in the world. Pakistan will fulfill that gap, and we will have substantial growth in terms of our export numbers from Pakistan as well. So if Pakistan is a beneficiary, we will definitely be the beneficiary as well. And that's why we always talk about the ecosystem.
Thank
You
you.
can send your questions to investor_relations@systemslimited.com. I've written this email address in the chat box as well, if we have missed anything. Or you can send them to Ali. Thank you.
Okay, Ali, then your job will be to summarize and send us. Okay.
I will do that. I'll happily do that.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Thank you, Ali, for hosting this, and thank you all for attending this. And wish you guys good luck. Happy Friday, happy Ramadan, and wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Hafiz.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.